He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of StoryPower TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J Loren Norris.
You know, we've seen all the movies and we've seen the horror films where the bad guy is coming to attack, whether it's Michael or Jason or whoever is coming after you, and the hazard of the chainsaw or the axe or the hazard of the frightening and the knives and the swords and the standing up inside your shower and all of the frightening things, and yet all of these would-be victims, they run upstairs and they narrow their own way of escape. And they back themselves into a corner and they hide in a closet and there's no way to get away. So when the bad guy does find them, there's nothing they can do about it. And yet, even in that moment of silliness, the fury with which that victim is willing to fight back is completely different than the fury they fight with when the fight is in the streets. When it's outside and it's not in their house yet, they have a little concern. When it's just in the neighborhood, but it's not in their house yet, they don't pay much attention. When it's all around them, but it doesn't impact them, maybe it'll go away. Let's just ignore it. See, leaders fight differently when the fight comes from within than they do when the fight comes from without. That's what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.
I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I don't know if you've ever had that moment of stark awareness where you wake up one day and you realize everything I thought about that I knew about me, it was wrong. I'm not the person I thought I was. I don't have the kind of character that I tell people I have. I don't own my own problems and my own responsibilities to the degree that I would like the world to believe I do. In fact, there are certain things about me that I'll never tell anybody. There are certain things about my own personality that I sweep under the carpet. I hide in the closet, those skeletons, you know. And yet those are the things, those old habits, those past mistakes, those self-defeating lies, those are the ones that will destroy your career. Those are the ones that will destroy your relationships. Now, don't get me wrong. Not for a moment am I saying that the idiots on the outside that are trying to sabotage your business, that want to steal through competition, that want to besmirch your character, that want to speak ill of you in front of whatever brand positioning your company or your person might have, they're still a threat. They're still a problem. They will take you out if they can, especially if you are a threat to their financial well-being. If they feel like your company, your organization could be a threat to them, you're a target, guaranteed. The question really is, what about the internal fight? What are you going to do when you look in the mirror and you realize the person telling the biggest lies about you, it's not the media, it's not some yahoo on Twitter saying in mama's basement, drinking Mountain Dew, playing video games and snacking on Doritos. That's not the one who's tearing you down. It's not the local television broadcasts. Nope, they're not paying much attention to you, in fact. It's that individual that looks at you in the mirror every day. That's the one who's telling lies about who you really are. That's the one who's telling the world that you're somebody that you're not. That's where the imposter syndrome comes from. That's where the fear of success comes from. That's where the fear of failure comes from. Now let me take that one step further, because sometimes it's not just the internal inside you, inside your mind, inside your soul, your own subconscious, your own bad habits, your own past experiences that's haunting you. Sometimes it's internal, meaning inside your organization, inside your family, inside your team. There was a phrase that dawned on me probably 30 years ago. In fact, it'll be 30 years ago next year. And when it struck me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And when I realized the gravity of the statement and its meaning, I've never forgotten it. Here's what it said. There is no enemy like a best friend gone bad. There is no enemy like a best friend gone bad, because they know all your secrets and where all the skeletons are buried. There is no enemy like a best friend gone bad, because they know all your secrets and where all the skeletons are buried. Now, if you've got people in your organization who know things about you that the rest of the world doesn't know, they know the mistakes you've made. They know the things you've done wrong. And they're holding those cards close to their chest. At the moment, it seems like they're holding those cards close to their chest because they're loyal, because they care about you, because they don't want you to be exposed and destroyed. They believe in you. They believe in mission together. They believe that together you can change the world. But if they ever turn on you, they will be the worst enemy you've ever known, because they know everything about you. They know all your weaknesses. They know all your internal battles. They know those nights that you lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering, how did I get to this position? And what if they figure me out? They know that imposter syndrome isn't just a facade. It's a real fear. How do you think some of those organizations like Enron and SFX, is that the name of it, that just recently went completely bankrupt? Because someone at the top was living a facade and leading basically criminal activity. They were doing things that they knew were wrong from the get-go, but they were getting away with it. They were getting away with it because there were enough loyalists around them who figured out they could make a profit at it. But it only takes one loyalist to turn on you. It only takes one slip of the facade, one crack in the facade for the light to shine out from inside, and everybody says, "Oh, looky there!" And now that facade is going to be attacked from every angle. Now, leaders learn to fight differently when the enemy is within. Whether the enemy is within the organization, within the team, or within self. And if it's a soul battle that you're fighting, your mind, will, and emotions can't come into consistent congruence with the life that you're living and telling everybody else that you're living, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a real problem as a leader. You're going to have a problem, believe it or not, even as a communicator. Because the emotional well-being of any communicator is worn on the sleeve unintentionally. Yeah, somebody who's unhealthy but tries to stand in front of a crowd and communicate what's on their heart and on their mind for the point of persuasion. Every time you start digging into that closet of your own soul, there's going to be some revelation. You may not mean it to be there. You may not mean to expose yourself, but you're going to. My advice is, as a leader who has some things in the past that have been dealt with and some things in the past that are still being dealt with, just my own internal garbage, my own lies, my own disbeliefs and misbeliefs. Take caution. Take care. But learn to fight harder that stubborn individual inside you who all on their own can sabotage your future, can destroy everything that you've worked for, can hurt the people you care about the most, can bring you down and bring you to ruin and destroy your legacy in a moment. Think back for all the people who have been impactful leaders, whose legacy was tarnished just before they passed, or just after. I don't care if you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein or Ravi Zacharias, the question of their integrity, their personal moral fortitude, brought to question everything they did in life, whether it was about money or it was about influence, about leadership, about education. The decisions that they made on a personal, secret level have brought into question the legacy they will leave behind when they're gone. The same is true of you as a leader. Every decision you make, every moral decision you make, every relationship you build, every alliance you support will make or break you. Some of them will destroy you from within because your own guilty conscience will eat you up. Some will destroy you from within because the imposter syndrome is not just an imposter. You're the one who knows whether what you're doing is in full integrity or not. And that will keep you awake at night. And that will show when you communicate. True story. But the hardest fight you'll ever fight is that internal fight. There is no worse enemy than a best friend gone bad. When you turn on yourself, you're in for a fight. I want to challenge you as leaders to take that time that's necessary to do your own self-evaluation. In this slow season of the year, as the holidays are coming around and we're all gearing up for 2023 to come into, God willing, not like a 2020 launch, but 2023 as another new beginning, a true new beginning, something that we haven't seen before, new opportunities, new developments, new growth for every business and every family. As we're coming into that season, ask yourself, am I readying myself for that? Am I willing to look long and hard in the mirror and be genuine and authentic about who I am and what I bring to the world? Will I minimize the risk by simply being truthful, transparent, authentic? Not the kind of authentic that the world says, oh, wow, look how transparent you are, while it's all a lie. But the kind of authentic that says, this is who I am, take me or leave me. If I'm not your cup of tea, I get it. I'm sad that we can't work together, but I get it, and it's fair, but I want you to make that decision knowing everything that I can afford for you to know about me. I don't want to lie to you. I just want to be me. If that's the kind of leadership and that's the kind of communication that you are responsible for, Story Power Masterclass isn't just a speech class. I don't just train speakers to speak. I train leaders to be better communicators. The Story Power Masterclass is as much about mastering the story that you tell yourself when you're laying in the bed staring at the ceiling at night as it is about the story you tell from the stage or the platform. When you're interviewed on a podcast and somebody says, so tell me about you. That answer, that's a story. That description of why you went into business, that's a story. That argument you have of yourself while you're brushing your teeth, that's a story. That belief system that you hold on to, whether it's beneficial or it's not, also a story. And when you master those stories as a leader, you'll have an entirely new mastery of communication skills as a communicator. I challenge you to jump up and join the Story Power Masterclass. Learn to lead the narrative in your own life. Do something different with who you are. And a lot of that's going to start with the fight that you're going to fight within. Let me help equip you with some stories that will give you the strength because they're true and they're authentic. They will give you the strength to fight the toughest battle you'll ever fight, and that is the one that's on the inside. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.